Am I audible, guys? Okay, thank you, Neeraj. So, did you try the exercise that I gave you guys? Let's start with that. One of the exercises was, I think, finding out the palindrome of words, right? Let me check. Yeah. Did you try it out? Okay, it required you to have some more features, right? A few of the more things, okay, that you, if you had tried it, you might have to uh, discover a few more things to solve this issue, right? Okay, let me show you, and you guys try it out and come back to me on this. So this is your list. Let's have the output. Output equals to uh, what do you want to use here? You wanted to use, I think, either map filter or reduce. Right. So finding out palindrome will be more like filter or map. What shall it be, guys? Right, it shall be filter. Okay. So whatever output you're going to get, you have to save it in list. Let's do filter first. Okay. Filter first will go your lambda expression. That will be x is the variable that you're using, right? Okay, and expression compare empty string dot join, and then we are going to reverse it. Whatever expression we are getting, we are going to reverse that. Okay, and then you're going to supply a list to it. Okay, I want you to figure it out once, right? What is happening here? And what is ever the output is, it has to be converted into list, right? Because filter, whatever output you get in filter, it's a filter object or map object, right? And you cannot work with this unless until you convert it into list. Okay. Now, go through this today, right? And we can discuss this tomorrow. Okay. So I'm using join here and reverse. Reverse is again your function. Join is a method, right? And this is your empty string. Okay. So you're getting output as palindrome. All the palindromes are being the output. Anyways, so try it out. Okay, coming back to what we were doing regarding modules. Any queries on this, guys, regarding modules? Any queries, guys? So what we were doing is we created two files, ex1.py, right? And this particular file contained the variables, two variables x and y, uh, um, self-defined or self-created function, and one more self-created function, right? And then we were importing this into ex2, right? So here we are writing it as a statement. Okay, so whatever we write like this is what we call statement. Okay, always remember this. And then we were calling all those files all the content of ex1 like this: file name dot whatever is inside it. Okay, file name dot x, file name dot y, file name is ex1. So how are you going to call this? ex1.x, ex1.y, ex1.addme, ex1.myinfo, and that is how we were calling it. Okay. So execute this again, guys, or do you want me to share this with you? I think you have this, right, guys? Kindly check and let me know. Accordingly, we'll proceed. So basically, we have three types of imports. Okay, first of all, let me paste that code block here. Okay. So this was the, you can see that solution of the exercises that that was in homework. Now, import we perform in three ways. One is your normal import statement, like import file. Let's call it file, right? File one. From file one, import variable or functions, right? And then from file one, import everything. Okay. Apart from that, we have one more way in which we define the name of the file, right? What name you want to particularly give a file. That is what we also define. Now, how does it look like? Okay, so any queries from you? Before I start from here, we move to the next part. Let me know if you have any queries. So these are, guys, statements: import file, from file one, import, you can import variables or functions. From file, import everything, right? Okay, so these are your statements. Any queries? Nothing? Okay. So we have seen this first kind of import, right? Where we are importing the complete file, and whatever we want to call from this particular file, that is ex1, we are using its name and then a dot operator, and via this we are calling everything which is inside that file. Okay, good. Try it out once again, guys. How are you going to do this? I'm going to simply run this program. I don't want to save it again and again. Okay. Right, so you can see that it has called add me, it has added everything since we have defined that function. Value of x, value of y, you have been getting that. And then my info, you're getting that too. Okay, so that is one of the most basic way of importing. Okay, right, so here what we are doing basically, guys, we are using module name, right? We are basically using module name through which we are accessing functions and variables. Okay, and that too using dot operator. Okay, that is what we are doing. Right, so we are using dot operator to do this task. right? ex1.addme and so on. Right? So that is your one kind of import statement. Right. Now, there are another type of import statement also, right? And that is what we're going to see. So guys, create a new file. Simply click here on new file. See, you'll see that there are a lot of options here. Till now, we have seen this new, play, and nothing much, right? Okay, I'll tell you whenever you need it. For example, you have option of debugging also. Okay, I'll show you how to debug that, right? Okay. Now, normally debugging in Python is not that good if you're working with, say, IDLE, right? That is the core distribution of Python, or you're working with Spider or Jupyter. It has a very simple debugging. I'll show you that. Right? If you want a very good debugging, then the good tool or the best tool for that is PyCharm, right? IDE. Now, guys, create a new file, right? First save it. Okay, and save it in day 8 only. Okay, I'm saving in day 8 only. Right? You can save it anywhere you want. Right? VX3 this will be. Okay. Now, here what we're going to do is we are going to try the next importing, right? Which is basically we call selective import. Right? So from EX1, we are going to import. Right. See, what we're doing is from this file, that is EX1, import what? We are going to simply import things that we want. I'll import addme and myinfo. Okay, so I'm importing this. Now, since I have done a selective import here, right? I am selecting only two functions. How I'm going to call this? I'll simply have to use the name, nothing else. Okay, I don't have to do anything else, guys. I don't have to use the file name and use the dot operator. No, right? Because we have done selective import. And you run this. So anyway, let me check how many things addme takes. Okay, addme is returning, it's not printing, right? So I'll have to assign it to a variable and then print it. Okay, so you're getting the answer, right? So this is how you work with selective import. EX1 content, right? Okay. So it's quite easy to work with modules in Python, right? Okay, this is what we call selective import. Now, I have not selected, or I have not imported selectively x and y, right? So if I want to call x and y, can I call it like this? No, I'll have to use ex1.x, right? And I have to print it, right? Without printing, I won't be able to see it, right? You can try it like this also and see if it works. Oh, sorry, I'm going to change this name. Okay, you can check here. So if you want to print y, okay, can I do this? No, because y is not defined. Why? Because we have not selectively imported y. So for y, we'll have to again use the file name and dot operator. Okay, and you'll get the y. So you could have avoided that, like by simply changing one thing here, right? You can import y also, x and y also here. I'm importing x and y also. Now if I print, I can directly print them, right? So it's that easy to work with selective import in Python. Okay, see this, try it out. Right, so import is a statement in Python. You have to keep it in the same place, Kuntal. Same location, you'll have to keep it. So that is your selective import. Quite easy, right, guys? Let me know if you're done with this. I'll show you the third one, and then I'll show you which one you should be preferring and why. Okay. How do we know which function has how many parameters required? Well, does Python populate that, like which requires 3 memory call and etc. Okay, see, if you are the creator of that function, right, Satish, then you know how many arguments are there in Python. And if you're using, say, for example, see here only, if you're using an editor like this, right, right, then normally you get the hint. Okay, Satish, see here, arguments, name, and age. Right now, it depends on the what kind of ID you're using. First of all, right? Say you are using PyCharm or Spider, then they have this intuitive hint that you get, right? Where you can see that okay, the my info function has 2 arguments which are name and age, right? Okay, so that is the best way of finding out how many uh, arguments a function takes, right? So what you need to do is you simply need to write the function name and simply see it will autocomplete and give you a hint. Okay, you don't have to do anything. So most of the IDEs have this feature. Done, guys? Okay, there's one more thing that you can do, right? Say here. Okay, that is the last week's example, right? Importing a particular file. I can rename this. Okay, what I can do is, see, we do that actually a lot, right? Import with, we call it import with renaming. So here what I can do is, I can import it like this. Import ex1 as see, suppose that it was a huge file name, right? And if I had to say, for example, let me change the name of ex1, right? Let me rename this. Okay, I'm going to rename this. First function for module, right? That is what I have renamed it to. Now, if I wanted to import okay, so this is my first function for modules, right? Now coming back to ex2, if I wanted to import this, what would I have to write? First function for module. See, I simply press tab and it gave me all the hint, like this. Okay, now for this big file name, I'll have to write everything like this, right? I'll have to write it like this again and again. Now that will be a bit of a time consuming and time wasting task, right? So to avoid such scenarios, what we do is we rename it, right? So what I'm going to do is import first function for module as, say, one, right? I renamed it into one. So it's like my name is Vidhan, you can call me Vid, VID, right? So same thing what we are doing here. So now instead of this, I can only use this, right? Okay. This is what we call renaming a module. Okay, and we use this a lot in the case of, say, matplotlib and NumPy. Even in pandas, when you are working with pandas, you prefer renaming all those modules. Okay, NumPy we need rename it as NP, pandas we rename it as PD, right? Matplotlib.pyplot, for example, plotting, we import it as plot, right? PyPlot, or it's up to you. Okay, so this is what we call import with renaming. Now here I don't require to do the renaming, right? Do I need to require? Do I need to do renaming? No, I don't, because here I'm calling everything as it is, right? I'm not calling all these functions and variables with the help of the name of the file, right? So I don't need to rename here. Okay, understood? So import with renaming is again a very important thing that you encounter in Python. Right? We'll see that, right, when we'll be importing matplotlib or other things. Okay, like for Excel or for CSV or for JSON, right? In that case, you'll see how you can rename and how you use it. Okay. Okay. So we have seen two kinds of imports. One is your import a file, right? Normal file. And then here you can also rename it. Right. That makes sense, right? Second, so this is the first one. This is the second one. Right. Second one is what we call selective import. So from a file, a Python file, we are only importing what is required, whether it is a variable or function. In that way, we don't have to call all these functions and variables by the name of the file. And lastly, we have import everything. Okay, let's see that. Create one more file, guys. Name it as ex3 or ex4. So I'm going to import from first function for module, import everything. Okay. So I'm importing everything here. Now, how does it work? Basically, I don't need to. Now, what happens is I don't need to think about what are the variables in there, what are the functions in there. I have already imported everything. Right. Okay, and that makes your work easier actually. Like I can have uh, say print x. I can have print y. I can have add me. I can have my info. Right, and you can simply get all the values. Okay, now here you'll get the warning. Okay, that they might be undefined, but you can ignore that warning because we are importing everything. Right? Okay, you can ignore that warning. That won't be an issue. Okay, you won't get the error, but you'll get the warning. Right? That is your spider's way of telling you that something is not right, and rightly so, because we are not using this file name, and we have not mentioned x, y, or add me or my info here anywhere. So spider is confused, right? But it can see that the code is being executed correctly, so that's right. Otherwise, that's right. Okay. So this is the third way of importing, which is import everything. Okay. Check this out. Try it out. Good, guys. So that's your third way of importing. Excuse me. Okay, now, can you tell me which, okay, can you tell me which one is the best way of importing the module out of three? Tell me guys, see, you can do the analysis a bit right now, right? So we have three ways of importing a module, like import file, from file import selective variables and functions, and then third one, from file import everything. Which one is the best way of doing so? Okay, Sai is saying selective import, that is the second one. Like anybody else? Satish is also saying selective import. So actually the best way of importing is your second, which is what we call selective import. Now, why is the second way the best way one or best way of doing so? We can take an example, right? Let's say that let's try importing a third-party module. Like, so I'm going to import, say, math. Right? Now this, see, here what we have seen here is a user-defined module, right, or module created by us. And for example, math is an inbuilt module, so I'm importing it here. Right? Okay, and if I do the dir, okay, let me restart this. Like, I'll have to restart the interpreter here. Just give me a sec here, guys. Okay, so I am say, okay, import first. Okay, let me import this. Right, so I've imported first function for modules. Say for example, if I do dir and if I check, see dir is a method, like uh, basically function through which you can check what are the variables which are inside or what are the things which are inside uh, or what are the names which are defined inside this particular module, right? This is a module. Okay, there are some built-in, some cache docs. Okay, name is important, right? And then you can see that at the end you have add me, my info, x and y. So this is basically a list which is sorted, right? A dir function gives you a sorted list. Okay. Now, if I do something like this, right, from first import x, if I do the dir, okay, best way is to show you how to do it with, just a sec, to restart the interpreter again. Okay, have to clear this. Okay, so let's talk about two modules, which I'll show you as an example also, and will give you an idea about how and why selective import is good. So one of the modules is called math, other one is called operating system or OS. Right? So let's do import, say math, right? And let's do dir math and see what are the things inside it. So dir math will give you all the names which are inside the math module. Right? You have a cos h, a sin h, a10, a10 right? And seal is the ceiling, copy, sine, cos, right? There's so many modules inside it, right? Okay. Now, if I do something like this, say math dot pi, right? Or say something like math dot sqrt, square root of 2, right? Okay, and if I now find dir, right? Now dir, basically, see, if I do dir on math, that dir is going to return me back on math, is going to return me back what are the things associated with math module, right? And I use math.py, I use math dot square root of 2. Now, if I do normal dir, right, that normal dir is going to represent my namespace. It's basically uh, my namespace, or namespace is basically the allocated memory space or memory area for all the files that you have used till now. Right? I have not used these ones. Right? You see that we have used math, right? We only use math, right? So here, when I'm calling these things, there's no worry on that, right? And I'm not using anything here, right? When I'm importing math simply, okay? Now, same thing you can do with OS, for example, right? If I do import OS, right? If I do the dir on OS, you'll see what are the files inside the OS, right? OS module is one of the very big module, one of the biggest module that you have, right? And see, for example, it has a method called getCwd, which is get current working directory. So let's say that I called um, OS dot get current working directory, right? And this is the working directory, or this is the directory in which I'm working right now, okay? Now, if I find out the namespace now, you can see that apart from math, now OS is also included in my namespace, right? So Python basically keeps track and record of everything that you're doing as a list. Okay, so Python keeps record of, or Python's interpreter keeps record of everything that you do as a list. Now, these names are something which Python uses on a regular basis, so you don't have to worry about it right now. Like, all you have to worry about that, whenever I am importing anything or something, Python is mentioning that in the namespace, right? So I've till now used what? Normal import, import math, import OS. Now, if I do a selective import, say from OS, import get CWD, right? I imported this. If I check the dir, you can see that get CWD got mentioned in the current namespace or the current memory allocation of interpreter, right? Interpreter is keeping record of that also. So basically, if I do normal import OS, then in your current namespace, which you can find out like this, it only mentions module name, right? And whatever you want to call from that module, you'll have to use module name dot operator, and say, for example, I called get CWD here, right? That's what we did. Okay, you can call it, and that won't be registered in your current namespace or current location or memory. Okay, now if I do a selective import here, if I do selective import like from OS, import get current working directory, then in your in namespace, get CWD will be registered. Okay, till now, I think you should not have any doubt, or if you have any doubt, you can ask me, right? So whatever we are adding, okay, with the import is basically getting registered in your current namespace. And when I say that it is getting registered in current namespace, so say we want to call, or we want to call this get CWD, then Python will have to go through this list. Python will have to, or interpreter will have to loop through this list and it will have to find, say, get CWD. No, it's not going to take much of a time because it's a small list. Now guys, if I do something like this from OS, import everything. So what is going to happen? Your complete namespace is going to be flooded with all the methods which are defined in the OS. Now you can see that my current namespace is flooded with so many information. Okay, and you might be needing only one or two functions inside this from OS, but now you are importing, you're getting everything on namespace, and that is going to make your Python code run slow, right? Okay, so we don't prefer importing everything, right? Importing everything is not a good coding practice because it's going to slow down your code. Okay, so guys, always avoid importing everything unless until you have two or three or four or max 10 things inside your module. Otherwise, you should use selective import, or you should use uh, import file and then file dot, you can call file name with dot operator all the things inside that particular module. Got it? So the reason we don't use import everything, if I do from OS import everything, is going to get basically okay. So that's why we don't prefer import everything. Good. So the best way is from OS import selective, or from file import selective functions and variables. And then you have import a file, the second one. And lastly, you have from file import everything. Right? So you can rank it like this. Selective import is on the top. Then you have normal import, import file, and then you have import everything, which is at the last. Any query here, guys? Any queries, guys? We don't want to unnecessarily populate the current namespace, okay? Uh, because that is going to result in higher memory consumption, right? Okay? So it's not recommendable, or it's not recommended. Good. Uh, let's take another example, not for this. So guys, I want to create two files. One will be the module, and another one will be importing that module. Okay, let's do a quick task. Okay, do a quick task here. Create one file. So your file one, name it as myfile.py. It's going to be the module. In this, simply use print, or you create a function which prints user-defined string. Then you create another file two, that will be your file .py. Here, call that function from myfile.py. Okay, do this quickly, guys. There's one concept I have to tell you regarding this. quickly create these files. I'm going to create my file. Right here, I'll have def, right? So you have to create a function. My fun pstr is the variable print pstr. Okay, a simple print function. See, I just want to explain you one of the concept. That's why I'm creating a simple function, and then you have your file. Okay, I'm going to import my file here. My file. Any ways you want to import. So I'm using selective import dot my file. Hello guys. Okay, so this is how you basically work, right? If I run this, it'll get hello guys. Okay, it's a very simple module which has only one function and a very simple way of calling it with the help of file. Now, if I ask you that, okay, this my file here right now, right? What is happening here, guys? My file is acting as a module for your file. Right, that is what is happening. Now, there will be a certain time where you might want to run this myfile.py as a standalone Python file. How you going to run this? Okay, say if I want to run this as a standalone Python file, how I'm going to run this, right? I can call it like this, my fun. Right, I can call it like this, right? Hello, me. I can do that. Okay, and if I call this, is it going to change anything? Yes, it's going to change a lot of things. Right. So basically what is going to happen is, see, I can run it as a standalone file, right? I can do that like this. But again, if I write code like this and if I run my other module, then that module is going to get impacted. Right? Hello me is printed first and then hello guys. So that module, guys, is getting impacted. Okay. So that is something which should not be happening, right? Okay. Understand this, guys. So I want, see, my file.py is acting as a module for your file.py, right? And we are very good with this, right? We imported that file and we called the function which is inside that file. But now there will be a certain time or certain point where you want to run or execute this my file as a standalone Python file, right? Now, the best way is doing it like this, but if you run it like this, then it works for here. It works well here, right? You're getting the result, but it was going to impact how you are going to import it as a module, right? So that is one of the biggest problem that we have in modules, right? Now, can you suggest me how to solve this? How to write or how to correct this so that this is going to run as an independent module also or independent Python code also, and when I import it, it won't impact It won't impact what? The file where you are importing it, right? So how to solve this conundrum? Any hint or any idea? Dharmesh, you have to create the file in the same location. My file have, see, I've created all the files in the same location. Right? Make sure that you're creating all the files in the same location. Okay. Yes, Sachin, exactly. See, that is what I'm explaining the concept of this. Dharmesh, do run. Okay. So guys, if you get confused that, okay, see guys, basically what is happening is when I created all the files here, right? Okay. So what is happening is your Python interpreter, which you can see here, is pointing into that directory, right? And you can come to know about that directory information also. Yes, Aditya, I'm explaining that only. Make sure that you are creating all the files in same location. One, right? Second, your interpreter should be pointing into that location. How do you get the location where interpreter is pointing? Use this import OS and os dot get cwd. That is your current working directory. So this current working directory is where your interpreter is pointing to, and your files location should both be same. Okay, Dharmesh and Aditya. You'll see something very interesting that Python uses double backslash for addresses. Right? That is quite interesting actually. Okay. We're going to face this also. Double backslash and R. Solve this, guys. Okay, let me know if you're able to solve that issue with the help of this Aditya and Dhamesh. For others, guys, tell me how do I solve this problem? Right? Okay, that my modules does not get impacted, but still I'm able to run this file as a standalone code. Done, Dhamesh? Okay. So guys, okay. First of all, to understand this, you should understand how Python basically work, right? So whenever you are running the Python code, right? First of all, in Python, you don't have a concept of you don't have main, right? Main function through which you get into the code, right? That we have in Java, for example. Right? Main basically acts as a door, right? Or your compiler, or your basically in Java compiler uh, looks for the this function, main function, right? And then this main becomes the starting point of your code execution, right? So we don't have that concept in Python. So in Python, when the code is executed, it starts executing or it starts reading from the first line, right? It does not look for the what main function, no, because there is no concept like that. Okay. So level zero indentation, see here we call level zero indentation, your Python code start running from this, right? Now, however, before doing this, your Python define few special variables. Okay, before executing this from indentation zero, that is from this point, your Python defines few special variables. Okay, one of the variable is your name, which is double underscore name double underscore. Okay, that is one of the variable that is there. Okay, This is what your Python defines, and this is how we or this that is what we are going to use. Right. So what happens is whenever see first of all, let's try to print this. Okay, let's print it here. Print. See here. What has happened? My phone is giving you hello, and when you're printing name, then the name variable's value is double underscore main double underscore. So basically, what is happening is when you are when you are executing this file, right? Then the special variable name, its value becomes main, right? Or your Python uses the concept of main function, but as a variable, right? Now your Python is saying that, now this is my main file, right? Not the main component, but the complete file, right? So your name has been given a value which is main, okay? Now, if this file was being imported into this file, then this file will no longer be the main file. Your file is going to be the main file, right? So this concept of name and association of the name variable with the main is what we use here. How do we use it here? Let's see. Okay, let me explain you again what is the concept that we are using here. Excuse me. So whenever you execute a file, guys, right, then there is a special variable which is called double underscore name double underscore. And if you're executing this file only, myfile.py, then the value of this name variable is equivalent to main variable. Right? Main. Name's value is equal to main. Now, if you are importing this file, say in your file, then this name variable no longer is main, right? Because now my file is not the main file, your file is the main file, right? So this concept is what we use to basically run a particular file in the standalone environment, right? Now, how are you going to use it? Okay, what we do is we check if name, we compare if equal to your main, right? What we're going to do? We are going to run this. Okay. That means what? What does it mean here? So, if I run this file, which will be the standalone file, then what is going to happen? Obviously, your name variables value will be main, and this function will be, or this statement will be executed, right? Okay, now if I import this file here and I run from here, then obviously your name is not equal to main, so this function won't be executed and it's not going to impact your this file. Okay, so you can include an else here. Uh, Else I can, okay, we'll include else later on. Right. First, let's run this. See, I'm able to run my hello. It's going to print hello me, or my fun is going to print hello me. Why? Because I have executed this file as a standalone file, right? And here your name variable is equal to main. Right? That is why we are able to print this. Now, if I import it here, you'll see that it's going to print you hello guys, which we asked like this. It's not going to print you hello me now this time, right? Which we were getting earlier because of this line. Why? Because now this if condition is not satisfied. So what is the condition that is satisfied? The else condition. So I'm going to simply print my file dot py is not what? It's not the main file or is being imported. Whatever it is being. Okay. Let's run this again. You see that? First, it is printing my file.py is being imported, and then it is giving the output. So what is going to happen is, whenever you are importing something, guys, first it is going to execute this file, obviously, right? And it's going to monitor this, and then it is going to go there. Now, since we are importing it here, if condition is not going to satisfy, else condition is going to satisfy. That's why it is printing my file.py is being imported, and after that it is printing hello guys. Okay, that is what is happening here. Okay, so that is the importance of main and name. Okay, so whenever guys you want to execute your module as a standalone file, you simply introduce these if and else block. That's going to solve you a lot of problems. Okay, check this out. And basically, it helps you a lot in finding out which file is being imported, or is this file is being run as a standalone file or not. Right? These are the things that you can do with this. Hey, it's a very important concept, guys. Okay, I've pasted the code. Now I'm going to change a few things here. Right, print. It's been or my file dot. You can say that file to is being run. I can call it run directly. Okay. Yes, when I'll be using it, I'll explain it to you. Okay. Right now we don't need to use it. Okay. I'll explain to you. So basically these are not variables. These are methods in Python, right? And this REPR and init. Okay, and init is a method that we use for initializing the. Okay, so if init basically we use in classes, right, for initializing the variables. Okay, or better way of calling it is initializing the attributes of the class. Right? Okay. So I'll give you an example when I'll be showing you how to work with the class. Right? REPR method and init method. Okay. Okay, so do this, and same thing you can do here also. Okay. I can do the same thing here also. So they check the indentation. You are doing something wrong from perspective of indentation. See, if I run this, then what is going to happen? This is a standalone file. So this if condition will be satisfied, name is equal to main. So it is going to print my file.py is being run directly. Right. Now, if I run this file, okay, I'm not using the import here. Oh, let's have this also. Right. Now, if I run this file, guys, what is going to happen? It's going to import my file, right? Okay, while importing my file, it is going to execute this file. So now The Python interpreter will go through this and we'll see if this condition is not satisfied. So it's going to print myfile.py. After printing myfile.py, what is going to happen? It's going to print hello guys, and after that, it's going to print your file py is being run directly. Check the order. Right? It's all about the order. Right? First, it is printing my file is being imported. Right? The else of your first file. Second, it is printing is hello guys, and lastly, it is printing your file is being run directly. Okay? Check this out, guys. It's quite interesting. Right? It explains you a lot about how interpreter sees the code of Python, right? And this thing is going to help you a lot while analyzing the code, how the um, code is flowing, or what is the flow of the variables and all those things, right? Okay. So I want you to analyze this. Take your time and do check for the indentation, guys. Right? If you get indentation error, that means that you have done something wrong from perspective of indentation. Kindly check that. Excuse me. Okay, after this, let's see a simple built-in module, right? Just for the sake of understanding it. We'll be using Python after the file operations, right? So I'll explain you file operation. After that, we'll be introducing more of the modules, right? Uh, when we'll talk about how to manipulate a file, how to log a data, how to read a file, right? With the help of different modules, and how to plot some data in the case that okay, you're getting a log file where you have say a series of log data where you have the IP addresses or name of the servers and timestamp, right, or some values, then how to extract that values and plot it for further data analysis that you can do. Right? Okay. So there we'll be using a lot of different modules. And with file operations, I'll also explain you the exception handling, right? Because exception handling becomes an important part when you're working with a live stream of data, for example. Okay, did you understand the flow here, guys? How this code is flowing? That's important. It's quite easy example, right? So every file has its own special variables, which is name. Okay. There are other variables also, but for now, you need to understand the name one. Right? This is important. If, take 2 more minutes and see this. Okay, Satish, what is the indentation error you are getting? Can you paste the code in the chat box? Kindly paste the code in the chat box, Satish. Can you do it again? I'll have to check. Just give me a sec. Okay, it's my phone. Okay, what are you trying to do here? Can you paste the error that you're getting? Prashant, it's a special variable you can say. Right? It's called name only. Double underscore Dhamesh, it's double underscore, not single. Satish, can you paste the error once again? The complete error that you're getting? Yes. Okay, I'm removing this because this is not required. So you're writing, okay, this is again an error. Okay, so this, you don't comment like this, Satish. We use hash for commenting or triple quotes for commenting. Okay. Now, the error, Satish, you are getting is that I have told you that whenever you encounter a colon, exception is lambda. Lambda functions is different. Apart from lambda, wherever you encounter a colon, you have to go into the inner structure, right? So that's why you are getting the indentation error. Guys, you'll have to practice on this, okay? If you don't practice, then you'll find it hard to understand this indentation. Okay, so that is why you're getting error, Satish. Okay, let's move forward, guys. Let's take an example of, okay, I'm going to change the location of this interpreter. See, now my interpreter is pointing toward this direction. Right, so I'm going to close all these files, guys. No, I don't need them. Okay. Okay, now let's see an example of how to use a built-in module, and after that we'll move to file operations. Right. Save it. Okay, I'm going to save it as example.py. Right. Let's import math. Right. Let's check math. Math is one of the modules which is quite easy to understand. Right, and you'll understand a lot of things with the help of this. Right. So what basically we are doing is importing a built-in module. We call it built-in module. Right. How do you use this? You can do math dot. So simply you have to use math dot, and it's going to give you all the possible functions and variables. See, E is a variable. Right. Scroll down. You can do factorial is a function. Right. See, I've written here. Right. All the orange color has a circle has a f written, which is the function, and then pink ones are basically your variables. So next variable you're going to encounter is, okay, I'm not sure about inf, but pi, right? So let's say that you do square root of 9, say for example. I'll have to print it. So that is how you use a built-in module, right? You can print mat.py, right? This is a variable. You can have print math dot say degrees. You want to find out degrees of 2, you can do that. You can have radian. You can find out radian of, say, for example, 90. Right. You can have sine, you can have cos, you can have 10. Right. You can have dot factorial of, say, 5. Print math dot sine. I can have sine of, say, what do you know? Sine of what? Uh, 1. Cos of 1. Right? You can check all those things. Okay, so this is how basically we use uh, inbuilt module, a very simple way. Right? Okay, now all those things you can try. You can try a selective encode, or you can try something like this. Right? We have done the import. You can do an import, selective import. Are you going to do that, selective import? Okay, so do a selective import here. Okay, so I did a selective import here. I imported square root. I can import pi. I can import um, factorial. Right, I can do a lot of selective import here. In that way, I don't have to use the name, right? Right. Okay. So you have normal import, you have selective import like this, right? And lastly, you can do import everything. That you can try. Right? You can try. Yes. Not only it runs faster, it saves us lines of code, right? Doing selective import, you don't have to call the function again and again like this, math.readin, math.factorial like this. No, okay? That saves us time also on lines of codes, apart from being fast. Okay, there are two more modules which are quite going to be useful. Okay, so you can change its name, right, guys? Because I'm going to show you two more modules. Example, math. Okay, if you have done this, let me know. Right? Check this out. Right? This is just for the sake of understanding how you can use inbuilt or built-in module. Okay, you use it like this. Short, easy. Another very important is your random module, right? That we use a lot. Now we use random module when we want our computer to pick any random number in a given range, right? Whether it's from the list or uh, say you want to flip a coin and you want to get a random value from that, or you want to pick a particular card from a pack of the card or deck of the card, right? Okay. So random module contains some very useful functions. So I'm going to do import random. Okay. To print random dot random integer between say 0 and 10. It's going to pick a random integer between 0 and 10. Okay, so that is again very much useful. Okay, while you're experimenting, say if you want a larger number, what you can do is something like this. Random random dot random into 100. Okay, if you remove 100, it's going to pick a number between 0 and 1, right? And that to be a very random number, and it could be a float number. It's going to be a float number, right? So if you want a bigger number, you can do into multiply it by 100, right? Okay, there's one other thing you can do. Okay, the main power of this comes, say you have a list, and in this list you have 1, 2, 3, 4, say true, say hello, say uh, say one more, like okay, you have a list. Okay, now if you want to pick something here from here, what we'll do is random dot, you can do choice. Okay, let me comment this. See here. Tell me, what is the thing that you can observe from this random dot choice? Okay. So basically, it generates a random value from the sequence. Okay. I can do something like this. Print random dot choice, right? We can pick some random values from a list. Say max. Okay, so that is your choice, which is again quite interesting. Okay, so you can randomly pick an element from a list or from any data structure. Okay. Now, can you tell me in what condition it becomes useful? You can create a lucky draw function with this. Okay. Yeah, you can create something like that too. Okay. Apart from that, you have shuffle. Okay, I'm going to use this only. I'm simply going to change this choice to shuffle. Oh, it's only written me none. So basically, shuffle is meant to shuffle the order of the list or any of such things. Okay, so this is not the best example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something different. Say for I in say range 10. Okay, can you create a function and call shuffle there? Okay, how am I going to use this? Can you tell me? Let me do this short hint. So basically, for this, we'll have to create a list from this. Right? So I can have, let's say that. How to create an element of the list. So simply check this out, guys. I'll explain it to you. Um, for I in okay, see this. I try to understand this and I'll explain it to you. Okay, I've done this shorthand, right? I've reduced the lines of code. So if you wanted to do it normally, okay, I want you to do it, convert it into a normal uh, for loop for this. How are you going to do that? See this, and then we'll move forward. Okay, so this is an easier example where you are shuffling the elements inside a list, right? Okay, so you have what? You have choice, you have shuffle, you have rendent, you have random, right? Apart from that, you have random range also, right, which is used a lot, right? Random range is similar to your range, right, that we have done. We start from 0, go to 0, 1, and between 5. So basically what it is doing is this is your start point. Okay. You start, end, jump. Starting from 0, going till 101 and jump of 5 elements at a time. And in under that condition, we are picking a random number with this criteria. Okay, it's quite useful. Okay, so that is your random function that we use a lot. So whenever you are going to work with data analysis or NumPy or all those things, random module works very well. Excuse me. Got it, guys? Okay. So your task is to convert this into your normal for loop. Okay. It's easy actually. So that ends your modules. Okay, we are going to see more of an inbuilt module, but with other operations, right? With involving files like Excel sheets and CSV and PDF and your normal text file. And then we are going to use different modules with that. Okay, so we're going to use more modules. Okay, after this, we are going to start with file operation, guys. We'll understand how file operation work. Okay, and then we'll move to more specific task, which is taking something out of from log file, all those things. Okay, so we can have break now, and then we'll start with file operations. So it should break. If you have any queries, you can ask me. You can ask me after the break. Okay. So it's a break, guys.
Very good. So I hope everybody is back. Now we will work with files, like, and files will involve your text files, your PDF, your Excel, your CSV, all those files, right? Okay. Now so what we have done till now, in a way, right, till now what we have done, uh, we have been reading from a file, right? Okay. Okay, and we have been writing into one using what? Using input and output functions, right? Which is basically your print. Okay, we have done that using input function and print function. Okay, now we'll see how to actually work with data files. Okay, so Python basically provides you uh, basic functions and methods necessary to manipulate file by default. Right? There are some inbuilt methods or functions which you can use in Python to manipulate a file. Okay, so let's see that. Let's create another Python file here. Okay, let me know. Let's create one file here. So we are going to deal with your normal files for now, right? And then we'll move to working with more advanced one. Right. Okay. So let's create one text file, guys. Right. In the same folder where you have all the code, create one text file. Name it as say one.txt, and it's empty file, right? I just created a file. Nothing is written inside this. It's an empty file. So till now, what we have learned, guys, is what is going to help us in performing a lot of operations on the files. And apart from that, I will see a few more things. Okay, and we are going to see some advanced methods also, like regular expression. Okay. Now, once you have created this file, right? So how do you play with this, or how do you handle it? So first thing that we do is we create a file object. Okay, let me jot down the steps. First, create a file object with the help of open function, right? Through which we open a file. After that, you can read from a file, and then you can write into a file, and lastly, you need to close the file. That's it. There are four parts to it. Open a file with a file object, and then read from a file, write into a file, and then close that file. Right? These are the things that we do. Let's see. So let's create a file object like this, equals to open. Which file you want to open? One.txt. Right? Or you can save it. I'll save it as file ops. Okay. Can you do that? Let me know. There are certain attributes that you can find out about the file. Okay, simply open the file, right? That's it. Just given the path of the file or the file name. If your Python code, that is file underscore ops, and this one.txt file are in the same location, then you don't need to give the path. If they are in different locations, then you need to give the path. So right now we don't need to give the path. Okay. Now there are certain things that you can do. Right? You can find out the mode of the file. Okay, whatever operation you're going to do, guys, we are going to do with the help of object of file. Right? F. We call it object of file. F dot mode. We are going to print if this particular file is open or close. Basically, it should be close or not. It simply tells you if this file is closed or not. Lastly, name of the file. Dot name. Now guys, there is an attribute which is called mode, right? Now mode, what does it mean? So normally guys, when you open a file or when you create a file and then you open that file in three modes. Normally you do that in three modes, right? There are more to that. Right? You open it in a read-only mode, which is represented by R. You open that file in write mode, which is represented by R or W, or you open a file in a append mode, represented as A. So these are the modes in which we open. Right, and normally when you provide the mode, when you write the mode, you write the mode like this. So this file is in the read mode only, for example. Right. So the syntax of this is open when you write uh, file name with path, and then mode file. So you want to open that file in a read-only mode, you want to open that file in a write mode, or you want to open that file in append mode. You mention that mode here. So that is the syntax of this. Okay, so if I don't give any mode, by default it takes it in a read-only mode. Okay. Let's say that I'm not providing the second value. So it's going to take this file in a read-only mode. Let's run this. Open missing requirement argument. That's bad. Try it out, guys. THC, day 9, day 9, under THC. Okay, try it out. Okay, okay. So basically what is happening here is that when we imported OS module, right? OS module also has this open uh, uh, function. Let me check if it's still there. Yeah, see here. Open is associated with OS also. Right? OS module that we imported everything. Remember this? So it is taking that open here instead of what we actually want. Right? It happens. Right? In that case, simply, guys, if you're getting this error, simply restart this. Restart this kernel. Okay? It's going to restart the interpreter and everything is going to be deleted, right? Everything is being forgotten. Okay. So it happens. Such thing happens. Now let's execute this and see. You can see that. Now you can see correctly. So this kind of things happen when your functions or methods inside different modules are clashing with each other. So we had that example of OS modules open function clashing with this open function here. Okay? So here, this is how it works. You see that mode of the file is read only. Is it closed or not? No, it is open because we opened this and the file name is 1.txt. Okay? So this is a simple thing about the information of a file. Okay. Now guys, whenever you open a file, it's a good practice that you should close it. The good practice is to close that file. Yes, Sagar, you are going to get that error. I'll tell you why. Let's say that, okay, first see this, Sagar. Right. You simply do one thing, Sagar. Okay, the rest of you, I'm going to explain you when we come to this point. Sagar, you do this, what I'm facing here. Okay? That is going to solve your Unicode problem. Okay, so whenever you open a file, it's a good practice that you close that file. Let go. Close. And you can check this after this. Let's see. That mode of file is closed or not? No, it's not closed because we asked here. Then name of the file, and then we close the file, and then we ask again if the file is closed or not. True, it is closed. Okay. So closing the file is a good practice, guys. You should always close the file, whether it is open in a read-only mode or any mode. Now, what does this close do actually? Right, this close has a very interesting thing to do. Right, it flushes, basically it flushes all the, uh, you can say that unwritten info and basically closes the file. Right? Any unwritten information that you have, right, it flushes all that information and closes the file. Right, that is some problem. You can say that some of the issue that we face in Python, right, that requires us to close the file, especially when you're opening it in a write mode. Okay. Now guys, imagine the scenario in which, see, everything we are doing in the same location. Imagine that this file was located on the desktop, for example, say in this folder, in diagnostic report. Okay, say for example, in this folder we have file hello.txt, right? So how am I going to refer to that file? Obviously, I'll have to give the complete path. So I'm going to copy this path, right? And I'll have to give hello.txt. Okay. This is how I'll have to give the complete path, right? Now this hello.txt is located in this location, which is desktop. On the desktop, I have a diagnostic report folder, and inside that, I have this hello.txt file. Okay. Now, guys, this structure basically represents a string. Right? Whatever we write between double quotes, Python consider it as a string. Now, this is not a string. Right? For us, this is a path. So we have to tell Python to not to consider this as a string, but as a path. So there are two ways in which you can tell Python to not consider it as a string, but as a path. Okay. It's a string. Need to tell Python to not consider it as string, but as path. Let's check it out. How do you do that? You have two ways of doing this. First, you write R in front of it. This is the one way. That is R stands for raw, so it becomes a raw string. And now your Python does not consider it as a string, but as a path. So second, which I find a bit tedious, is that you include one more backslash everywhere. I don't like this way, guys, to be honest, right? Because it requires me to work more and more, and Python is less about working more and more. Right? So you have two ways in which you can basically solve this issue. Right? Either writing R in front of the string or using double backslash. It's up to you, whatever way you want to use. So basically, if I run this code, it should give me an error. Okay, it's not able to understand what is happening here. So if I write an R in front of it, your Python will understand it. Okay, mode, name of the file, and all those things. Okay. That is how your Python basically understands or differentiates between string and the path. Okay. That's important, guys. Can you see this? Excuse me. Okay, got it, guys? Reading and writing, it's quite easy actually. Very good. What is the error you're getting? Can you tell me? Every time you are running the script, it opens window file explorer. Okay, Kuntal, what you are doing, can you, um, if you push open, okay, let me check. So whenever you are running this Kuntal, it is opening uh, explorer, right? That is what you are getting. Okay, do one thing. Kuntal, see here. Can you see this console? Right? Can you see this small setting button here? Click on this and click on this restart kernel. Basically, we want to restart the interpreter. Right? Restart kernel is nothing; it's just restarting the interpreter. Can you do that? Okay. And then after that, execute this and let me know what you're getting. Okay. Can I do that? Well, guys, everybody got the difference between R and this. Right? Now, this is something that we'll be using a lot, right? So, uh, do remember this. Okay, that's important. Okay, next thing, see, once you have opened the file, you need to write and read into the file, right? That is something that you would want to do. Right? That is something that I would want to do. Okay, so I'm going to comment all these things because now I'm going to do something different. Okay, so basically we have two methods, right? We have read and we have write that we use to read from it or write to it. Let's say that first method that we want to look at it is your write method. Okay, so we already have a file which is being created, right? which is 1.txt. See guys, if you have only one file that is in the same location, you don't want to write R in front of it. Right? Your Python understands that. But if your path is some complex path, then you have to write R in front of it. Right? So you open the file, okay, and you want to perform some write operations on it. Now, okay, the method that we are going to use, which is write, is going to write a string to an open file. Right? We're going to write some string to an open file. Okay, we can also write binary data. Right? It's not only text that we can write. We can write some binary data also. Okay. Okay. So let's see that f dot write. We're simply going to write a string. Hello, everyone. Here's the time. After whatever you do, you should always close the file. Okay. Now execute this. Now tell me what you're going to get from this. Is it going to run or is it going to throw you an error or what? And if it's going to throw you an error, why? If it's not going to throw you an error, then why not? Okay. Right now, leave f dot close. Simply do open and write. Run this. Then the error that you're getting is not writable. Right? That means that this file is not writable. Yes, we didn't give the permission to the file. Yes, like exactly like it is. But here we have not mentioned the mode in which we want to open a file. See, by default, your open method is in a write-only mode, or sorry, in a read-only mode. Right, this mode, read-only. Now, if a file is in a read-only mode, how can you write into that file? Right. So what you need to do is you need to change the mode into write mode. Okay. Once you do that, you should be able to write into it. Okay. So we are not getting error. That means that this task has been executed. Let's check that. Now you'll see that this task is not completed. There is nothing written on it. Why? Because we have not called the close. So to complete this writing task, we'll have to use close. Right? Close is going to flush everything which is there in this. Right? So guys, whenever you are using the write method, you have to use close also. Otherwise, your write operation won't complete. Okay? Okay? Write out. So that is your write. It's easy, quite easy to work with all these things in Python. So let me know if I'm going a bit fast. Right? So these are the basic concepts, guys. Right? From the next lecture, we are going to move to a bit more of a complex task. Okay, next week, guys, we are going to work on regular expression, which is the basic, or which is the thing which we are building toward actually, right? Which contains automating your task or logging your data, right? Or reading from logged files, all those things. Right? So regular expression is going to be very much helpful. Apart from that, file operations are very important. So these two are the most powerful tool that you can have when you want to automate your task or do some file operation. Right? Logging, reading logs, files, and all those things. Yes, Sagar, we're coming to that only, how to check what we have written. For that, we have read method. We have seen write, we have seen close, and after that, we have read. Yes, that is what we are going to look at. So you have written something here. So I'm going to open this again. Right, so you have written something into it, you have closed this, and if I do something, see, we have read method. If I do something like this, it's not going to work, right? Because this file is already been closed, right? So we'll have to open the file again. That is something which you have to do. I've got open. Since I want to read from it, I'm going to open it in default mode. Yeah, I can do that. So you can see that. So what this task has done, okay, see this. It's a very simple way of working that is happening here. Do not get confused. See as it is happening. First, we open the file in the write mode. Okay. Then we have written something to the file. Then we close the file. And since the file is closed, we cannot read from it. We have to open it. Now, the second time opening the file, I'm not going to open it in a write mode because I'm not going to write into it. I'm opening it in a default mode, and your default mode, guys, is always read only mode. So we never see something. You will never see something like this in Python, right? You can write like this, but it makes no sense, right? Writing like this or like this is the same thing in Python. And if you want to read, then this read method reads everything which is returned inside the Python. Okay, okay, try it out, read something. Now guys, when you run this code again and again, then what is going to happen is your hello everyone, this is Vidhan, is going to be overwritten, or it's going to be written again and again into the same text. Right? It's going to overwrite hello everyone, this is Vidhan every time you run this code. So once you have executed this code, do not execute it again, right? It's writing, but you're not getting any. Check, Kuntal, check your text file. See, first open your text file and see if it's showing properly or not. Now guys, this, when there's no argument here, right, when there's no argument here, it is going to read everything that is coming next way. Okay? So it basically means read everything starting from 0 till n. So normally we should be printing it. Normally we should be printing it. That is the correct way. You see that is going to read everything at once. Right? Now if I want to read character wise, so I can do that. Say I want to read um, 4 characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a count here, 4. And I'm going to run this. So it's going to read first 4 characters. Right? That is what you can do here. So you pass the number or the count, how many bytes. See, each character is of 1 byte. How many bytes you want to read, and then you can read that particular byte. Okay. So we have read till 4. Now, if I do this again, right? See here, guys, that's quite interesting. If I do this again, then what is going to happen? We have read till HELL, and the printing or the reading will continue from where we had left. It's like a bookmark. Okay. Uh, so that is how your reading works. We'll see more example on this. Okay, with seek and tell, we'll get better clarity. Did you get it? can we capture a particular string? What do you mean by that? Do you want to capture a part of a substring you're talking about, right? You have a complete string and you want to capture it for this particular substring. Yes, you can. We are building toward that only, sir. Okay? We are moving toward that only. So these are like steps, right? First you open the file, right? Then you close the file, that is the first step. Then you write into it, then you read from it, right? And then you manipulate all those things. We are moving toward all those things only. Okay, now see here this. I can do something like this, right? See, if, I opened the file, 1.txt, I read the first four characters, and that I printed. And next time, if I do the reading again, see, it's like you're reading a book. You read first four pages, and then you left that book. And you put a bookmark on the fourth page, and again, when you start reading, you start reading from the fourth page onwards, right? So your Python also works like this. When I call f.read after this, Python interpreter is reading from where we had left. Okay? And now do one thing. Okay, creating multiple lines in text file. Okay. So guys, there's one very interesting property about write mode is that, see, say if you have a file which is not there, right? If I want to open a file which is not there, it's 2.txt, right? Then your Python is not going to read this, right? Because it's not there, no such file or directory, that is 2.txt. Now this is your read-only mode. But if you do the same task in a write mode, see here, there's no 2.txt here. If you do the same task in a write mode, what is going to happen is Python is going to create a file for you, 2.txt. Here, it has created 2.txt. Okay, that is all your Python work. So whatever task you want to do in a write mode, Python will create a file for you if that file is not there. Okay. Let's say that we have opened this f dot, right? Hello, hello, everyone. My session. How are you? Okay, good. Thanks for asking. Right? Now, guys, uh, so basically we are creating multiple lines here, right? And backslash n is the line change character that is common in almost all the languages, right? We use backslash n to change the line, right? It's like you're writing something on text file and you're hitting enter, and enter changes the line, right? Let's do this. Let's check this file. Okay. Just hello everyone, how are you? I'm good. Thanks for asking. Try this out. Now the point is not to teach you how to create a multiple line in text, it's to teach you how your read operation or different types of read operation or read method that you have. That is read line and read lines. Okay, try it out. File write operation can be used in redirect the output on between the script and the read, like handling shell script. Okay, I didn't understand your query. Write operation can be used to redirect the output between the script and read. Yes, you can do that. Yeah. Majorly, nowadays I use these operations for performing penetration testing and ethical hacking tasks. So right now I'm doing those kind of thing. I think using Python. So yeah, one more field where Python is used a lot is in hacking and pen testing and security. Okay. With scripting, Linux shell scripting, you use Python for doing almost all of the 90% of your ethical hacking and unethical hacking tasks. Right? If you want to go deeper, say in firmware hacking or firmware security, then you need to learn C, C++, and some of the different architectures of devices. Say MIPS architecture or ARM-based architecture or x86 architecture. So there are a lot of things that can happen. Okay, coming back to this, uh, you understood this? Now, if I want to read from this file, since this file is already closed, I will need to open this again. See, I am using the same variable. Right? You can do that. It's up to you. Or you can create a new variable if you don't find it comfortable. You can create a new variable. Okay? F1 dot read. Right? Let's see what it's going to give you. So it is going to give you the exec structure. Right? Now there's one more method is called read line. Okay. It's giving you empty because we have already read everything. So I'm going to comment this and I'm going to open the file again. So it is reading the first line, which is hello everyone. If I run this again, it's going to read the second line. How are you? Third line, I'm good. I'm executing it again and again, right guys? Uh, Thanks for asking. And see, it has read all the lines, and after that, lines are over. If I hit enter, it's going to give me empty. Everything is going to give me is empty. Nothing is there. It's all blank. Now, if I do like this, there's going to give me nothing, right? I opened the file, I read everything. Okay, guys, the best way is adding a print into it, right? Otherwise, you won't be able to see things properly. Okay, so if you want to see an output, every time, guys, you have to add a print function. Let me execute this again. And printing it, you can write something like this. Uh, read all. Read line by line. Okay, so first you open the file 2.txt and then you did read all, and here you're reading all. Then you are printing read line by line, and here you're getting empty. Why? Because read all is actually reading everything. So your pointer is here because of f1.read, and after that we are doing f1.read line by line, and there's nothing beneath it, right? There's nothing beneath this. It's not reading anything. It's returning an empty string. Okay? Is it possible to read a particular line by using read line? Uh, I never tried that. Okay, for that I always use read lines, but I think you can do something like this. Okay, check. No, no. You don't read it like this, right? I'll tell you what we use to read this. Okay. Uh, so there's another basically method which we use to actually read the line that we actually want to read, and that method is called read lines. Now, guys, read lines basically gives you all the lines as an output as a list, right? So you have a list, and all the lines are your elements of the list. So I think that solves your problem, right, Swati? Here, you can actually read a particular line. Okay, it's my something got deleted. Okay, so basically, if you want to read a particular line, okay, let's do one thing. Let's loop through it. If assign this, it's a list, right? Li from a file, right? It's a list created from a file. So I can underscore file, friend, I. Okay. So this is something I will do. But if I want to read a particular line, say line number 2, then this line number 2 has index what? 1. I can read down. Right. If I want to read line number 3, that is the third element, will have index 2. Right? You can treat it as a list. All these things are the element of the list. Okay, you can see that. Okay, you have to run it like this. You can see that each line is one element of the list. So you want to read the first element, you have to use the indexing. It will have index 0. Second element will have index 1 and so on. Okay. And that is how you can read a particular line like this. Or you can manipulate a particular line like this. Okay, so there's one task for you. Take it as a homework. Okay, let me write down that task. Create a file, create a text file. Right, in this text file, write numbers with the with the help of write methods and different lines, right? And then what you have to do is find the sum of the numbers in the file. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Right? Find some of the numbers in the file and print it like this. The print should look like this. The sum of the values inside the file is some XYZ, whatever number it is. Now, one more thing, guys. This is one, and you can have a spin-off on this. Right? So this is the task that you have to do. Spin-off is that write the numbers with the help of write, taking input from user. So try this out. First one, I'm sure you'll be able to do that. Second one, you can try, but it's an optional. Okay, so take it as a task. Tomorrow we can discuss this. Okay, so you have to create a text file, write numbers with the help of write in different lines, find the sum of the numbers in the file and print it. And your print should look like this. The sum of the value inside the file is this. Okay, it's going to, I don't think you'll find it. Okay, don't search it online. I think you might find it. Python is open source, but still, try it out by yourself. Okay, okay, so you have, when you talk about read, right? So when you talk about write, there's nothing complex to it. When you talk about read, you have read function, you have read line function, you have read lines function. Uh, Not function, but method. Okay. Open has only open, and close has only close. Right, so these are the things that you need to remember. Okay. Good. So that is what you can do. Now, so I think that clears your read, write, open, and close. Right, now, what if I want to find out the position of my cursor? Right, what if you want to find out the position of your cursor or your bookmarker? Right? Okay, okay, guys, I'm going to change this file. Okay, any queries here, guys? Any queries? Nothing? Okay, create a new file. Name it as file ops 2. Okay. So what we are going to perform in this file is this. Right, we want to find out the position of the cursor and then act accordingly. That is what you can do here. Right, and you want to move that cursor so that you can uh, do take out a substring. Right. That is something that we are going to understand how it works. Okay. So, right. So we want to find out the position of the cursor and then act accordingly, whatever we want to do. Right. Next thing that you need to do, say if you want to take out a substring, then how to do that. Okay. This is what we are going to do with this. So again, everything starts with file object. Okay. Let's create a new file. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file, right? And I'm going to write something into this, and then I'm going to do the task on this. So I'm going to write, let's write something this. Sky is blue, the grass is green. I got two. Something else. Anything you can write. Okay, and I'm going to close this. Okay, so we have created this file. You can execute this. Okay, let's see if this file is being created or not. The sky is blue, the guy is green, and what blue. Okay. Now, what we need to do here is I want to read something from it. So I'll have to open this file. So you can use the same variable name. It's up to you. So I'm going to open it like this. See dot txt. In a read-only mode, I want to read. See that I want to read only 7 characters. I can do that. And for looking at what it has read, I'll have to print it. Run this, and see that it is read 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters. That is the sky. Okay, that is what it has read. Now, if I want to read further, say I want to read 7 more characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more characters. Right? It is reading space is blue. Right? So how is it working actually? Check this out. When I tell it that read method that okay, I'm going to read 7 characters, so it reads 7 characters, and this pointer stays here, exactly like this. When I say that now I want to read 8 more characters, it pointer starts from here and read 8 characters and it stays here, and so on. Right? So you can call it a cursor. Right? It's a cursor, right? Which is basically telling you everything. And lastly, if I write something like this, f1 dot read everything, it is going to read everything from that cursor position till the end. Right? This is how your read works. That is how your read basically works. Now, many times what happens is you don't know where your cursor is and you'll find out where your cursor is. So for that, we use a specific method which is called tell. Right? Okay. Tell tells us the location where your cursor is. Okay. So let's introduce tell. Okay. So what I'm going to do is say we read 7 lines. Okay. And I will tell where the cursor is. I'll have f1 dot tell. Again, I'm going to use this. Control C. Yeah, actually, we are not using this. So I'm going to execute this part of the code only. Can you tell me why I'm executing only this part of the code? Why not this complete code? Why not the upper part? Can you tell me why? Can you tell me guys why only I'm executing this part of the code? Why not this complete code? Exactly, sir. Anybody else? See guys, if you have any queries, you can ask me, especially related to the fundamentals. Right? See, logic is something that may vary, right, depending on you, but the fundamentals are going to be same. Okay, see, when you learn English, then grammar remains same, but you write a poem with that, or you write a novel with that, or you write a rap song with that. It depends on you. Right? So if you get any issue in fundamentals, please ask me. Yes, because we have already created this file, already we have written something like this. Again, writing the same thing into a file does not make sense. That's why we are not running this part of the code. Right? Okay, now, again, second query, why not I'm executing this part of the code? Why I'm executing from here? Can I execute this part of the code? And will it give me the right result? Why I'm executing this complete part of the code? Will this will work or not? Anyone? Okay, see, consider your file, guys, I'll tell you again, as a book, right? Consider it as a book only, right? And all the characters are the pages of the book, right? So the sky, T is one page of the book, H is second page of the book, E is third page of the book, blank space is the fourth page of the book, right? So these are the pages of a book. Right now, when we have executed this, right, we have done this here. So we have already read the complete book. Now, if you want to read the book again, if you play it from here, then after the last page, there's nothing to show. So it's going to give you blank. So what we need to do now to read the book again, we have to open the book again from the start. Right? And that is what we are doing here. We are opening the book again. And then we are reading from the start. Understood? So consider it as a book and then perform your task on this. Always. Okay? You're going to see a lot of logical issues that you might face. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I opened this book, 3.txt. I've read the 7 pages or 7 characters, right, in our case. And then I'm asking to tell me where my cursor is. I was telling that the cursor is at the cell position. So I'm going to include something here. My cursor or bookmark is at this position. Okay, now run this again. So first we ask it to read 7 characters. So your bookmark or cursor is at 7 position. Then we ask it to read 8. So your bookmark is at 15. 7 plus 8, 15. Now if I run this again, after 15 we are again reading 7 characters. So your bookmark is at 22. After 22 we are reading 8 characters. Your bookmark is at 30. Right? So this will keep on happening till everything is exhausted. Right? And 52 is the total number of characters inside this. Okay? So that is how you basically tell the location of the cursor. Okay? See this and ask me if you have any queries. Try it out, guys. Yes, Anish, we are moving to that point only. How to add something to it. Okay? Yes, and we can do that. Okay, we are moving to that point only. Okay. Yes, same can be done with the multiple sheets in Excel. Yes, you can do the same. So normally reading Excel, I prefer using a module. Right? So we'll see some modules also for that reading Excel. Basically reading Excel. And many times you might need to use pandas or numpy to manipulate the data in Excel. CSV comma separated values that also. Okay, how come? Okay, let's see that. How come it is at 52 line? See here see from here. Let's do one thing. Let's start it from the start. I'm going to clear this. Okay. So guys, I'm going to start it from the start, from here. Right, opening the book and reading the 7 lines and then so on. So we have opened the book first time and we asked it to read the first 7 characters, and your cursor is at 7th character. Then we ask it to read the next 8 character. Your cursor is at 7 plus 8, 15 characters. Now I'm not going to open the book again. I'm only going to read further. I'm going to read further 7 characters and further 8 characters. Like I'm not opening the book again, guys. So whatever pages I have opened, I'm at 15th page. I'm going to continue from there on. Okay? That means I'm going to continue from there instead of opening the book again. So if I read 7 more, so what is going to happen? 15 plus 7, 22. That is comma and all these things. Then after that we read 8 more. 20 plus 8, 30, and we read this. After 30, again we'll read it. Like from 30 we read 7 more characters, and from 37 we read 8 more, so 45. And we do it again. We read 7 more, 52. And after 52, we never had anything. So your cursor has stopped at 52. Okay? Or you can find about that like this. F1 dot, read everything and check what happens at the end. So the end character is 52nd character. Okay. So what I'm doing is read method without any uh, number reads everything from start till end, and we are simply finding out what is the location of the cursor in that case, and the location is at 52nd. That's why after 52nd we are not moving anywhere. Yes, every time, Sai, we are going to open a file. See, every time you open a file, it's going to start from zero. Yes. Now, if you want to move to a certain position or start from a certain position, you can do that too, right? So next thing is, if you want your file or your cursor to move to a certain position, right? We use seek method. What do? We use seek method. Okay. Let's see how do you use it. Okay. Let's play with this same file. Okay. I'm calling it F2 so that you are able to differentiate between them. Okay. And let's say that F2 dot, I want to seek it to a position, say 8, right? Because at 8 position you have, what do you have at 8 position, guys? You have IS load. Okay. Okay, so I have moved my cursor to 8 position, and from 8 position I'm going to read everything that is coming. See here. So basically I move my cursor to the 8 position, and now when I call read, it is going to read everything after the 8 position. So it has eliminated the sky space, and it's printing you is blue, comma the grass is green, and got Okay, so that's your seek. So basically, you can find out, right, tell. Let's see what does it tell. That it could be a better view. Right. So seek moves your position cursor to 8. Try it out. Okay, we are going to move tell and seek, and then we will do some complex tasks with this, right? So that we can change a substring, or we can basically change a substring. Right? Okay, try it out one thing, guys. Right? Before closing the session, I want you to try out one thing. I want you to, from the text that we have here, I want you to read the green. I want you to assign this green to a variable from this file. That's it. Okay. What you need to do is you have to take out green from here and assign it to a variable, right? And print that variable. That's all. Try it out. See, this is to understand how your file object basically work, how tell, seek, read basically work. Right? This is going to be helpful when you are dealing with Excel sheets or CSV or PDF or any kind of text in any format. The way of working almost remains same. The logic remains same. So what you need to do right now is from this particular file, only take out this. When I say take out, you don't have to cut it from here. You simply have to assign it to a variable and print that variable. Try it out. Okay, I've paused my screen. I'm writing a solution here, right? So that you can try and simultaneously. I can also write the solution for you, and then if you're done, then you can see it. Okay. So I'm doing it with paused screen, guys. Try it out. It's quite easy to do, guys. Done? Okay, see the solution. If you have tried, anyways, see the solution. It's a small one. You might understand. You might be stuck in some understanding. This will clarify your understanding. See, so you have F3. Open the file. Right, in a read mode, I seek to the position where G is. And after that, I'm reading it. 5 positions, and I'm assigning to a variable. I'm printing the variable. Okay, first time I read from the 31st position, right? Then I read from 30th position. Okay, so it's quite easy to work with this. Okay, so tomorrow, guys, what we're going to do is, again, closing this. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is we are going to see some example of tell and seek. After that, we are going to use exception handling, how to handle the exception in the file operations. Right? Okay, that is what we're going to learn. And after that, we'll move to uh, PDF, CSV, Excel. You see XML and JSON also. We won't dive deep into XML and JSON, but still, you can see how we handle XML and JSON. Okay, these are all the formats, right? Data formats. Okay. And after that, we are going to learn regex, or we call it regular expression, and we'll perform a lot of logging or reading a log here. And here we will perform a lot of reading and writing to files. With regex, we can do something like automating your task. Apart from that, we'll see libraries like matplotlib. We'll see that. NumPy, we will see a bit of pandas. Right? These are the libraries that we use a lot in Python. So these are the things that we are going to do. How many sessions are left? Ideally, I think 3 more sessions will be done. Tomorrow we will finish this exception handling, a lot of these tasks. Next 2 sessions we will do regex, these exercises. And we have a buffer time. So actually, like if you want to learn, like for example, classes I'm going to tell you at the end. And I think more of the example I'll show you with on regex, a bit more complex tasks, something that I would like to show you with regex. Okay, so these are the things that what we're going to do. Okay, guys. So that's all for today. And do try this exercise out, guys. We are going to discuss this. Okay. So that will be all for today, guys. See you tomorrow. Signing off now. Bye bye.